I'm Ted Keys in Pasadena, California. Welcome to my Tuesday conference call, a free high-powered meeting I hold live every Tuesday for top producing freight agents. Go to tedkeysonline.com for complete call information. Then join us weekly to see new, serious, struggling, and experienced sales professionals move more freight efficiently, effectively, effortlessly, and make more money financially. So watch my recorded call topic highlighted there on your screen right now. When you're finished, go to tedkeysonline.com and hear more podcasts. Read more blog posts, watch more videos, and while you're there, visit my Freight Sales Success Store for top-notch freight moving products to explode your business today. Enjoy watching and applying my Tuesday conference call.
Welcome again to my Tuesday conference call, guys, where, as you know, every Tuesday I show you how to move more freight, provide the best service, and one of the best ways to get going and being successful in this freight industry is to get on this call every Tuesday afternoon. Today, topic is, hang tight here, guys. My topic today is, do you know what your words mean? Do you know what your words mean? Now, I say this in more of a stern way, but I also say it more in a calm way. But before I start, as you know, I send out an email before every call. If you have not printed out the documents for this email, go ahead and do that. There are 8 of them for today. But I also want to say, direct your attention to our leaderboard. Congratulations on our leaders who continue to work their way up the board into those top positions. Plain and simple, if you're in those top positions, you are moving freight. You're doing it successfully. And one of the reasons why you are is because you're taking my training, you're taking my tools, and you're actually applying them to the marketplace. So let's move on here. Let's open up that first document. Basically, I'm opening my talk up today, and this is an excerpt by an author named Nathan Rose. Basically, he's titled this document, "What do your big words mean?" What do your big words mean? Nathan did a great job here of explaining what it is like, or the purpose of using big words. Let me read what Nathan has to say here, and that is, corporate jargon and industry buzzwords are the bane of many a presentation. Sometimes these put you to sleep, sometimes it's ho-hum, but either way, there's nothing like staring into space playing a mental game of Candy Crush while some executive drones on using terms most people don't understand. This is on the high end of our conversation, where you get a lot of these big talkers. You listen to CNN, listen to not CNN, but C-SPAN, where you get a lot of these political guys are talking, and it's like, what are these guys talking about? Hold on a second. Anyway, reading on here. One of the ancient Greek philosophers, I think Google can confirm, once said, whoever defines the terms wins the argument. Even though we're no longer paid to sit around in togas debating philosophy, this is still good advice for modern business people. But how often do we actually follow it? As aforementioned, it's all too common for business people to use all sorts of jargon, buzzwords, acronyms, particularly when presenting without knowing what they mean. I don't know about you, but I found that anytime I am trying to sound smart, particularly when using big words, I always end up sounding like a fool. For example, in 1997, when I graduated from high school, one of the universities that accepted me was George Washington University in Washington, D.C. Given the school's selective status and needing to feed my ego, I was quite keen to go. Unfortunately, their financial aid package wasn't quite as generous as some of the other universities that had accepted me, which meant, unless George Washington University increased my financial aid offer, I would not be attending. How smug, but how confident as well. Determined to be a George Washington University student with all the inherent smugness that comes from attending a selective university, I rang their admissions office one day after school in an attempt to negotiate a better financial aid package for myself. Trying to sound like the smart, precocious type of student that I assumed they'd want at George Washington University, I used the biggest and most intellectual words a 17-year-old could muster, including referring to their annual tuition as magnanimous. Please hold your laughter until the end. Later that evening, when I was talking to my parents about this conversation with the university, my father told me, "Nathan, that's not what magnanimous means." The financial aid package was not increased at George Washington University, and I'm certain that sounding like an idiot on the phone to their admissions staff did not help my case. So, what are the lessons here in young Nathan's situation? There are 3 lessons to be learned here. The first one is this. Anytime you're trying to sound smart, you're just making a fool out of yourself. It's better to come across as authentic rather than smart, number 1. Number 2, unless you're absolutely 100% sure of the meaning of a word, particularly jargon and buzzwords, do not use them. You may think that using big words makes you sound smart or that jargon and buzzwords make you look like an industry insider, but the reality is they can make you look exceptionally foolish unless you have proper command of them. Number 3, better yet, use small words to make your big points. Actually, that is the focal point of my conversation, my call today. Use small words to make your big points. Even if you know the proper definition, use of big words or industry jargon, buzzwords do your readers hears. There's nothing worse than not getting your message across. If those listening to you don't understand your message, then what's the point? Lastly, people often resent the feeling of being talked down to by those who deem themselves to be intellectually superior. Am I saying that we act that way in this industry? Hold on a second. No, I'm not. Typically, the challenge is to bring your vocabulary, your communication skills, really up out of the gutter and into the profession, this profession that will make you extremely successful financially. However, moving on here, so choose your words carefully when communicating with others. Aim for authenticity and understanding rather than showing off, and as a result of not connecting with your audience, or worse, looking foolish to them. Now, this is typically not the case in our profession. The biggest challenge that we face is our vocabulary up above the, let's say, the D level, going from A, B, C, D, F that we're aware of in school, is our vocabulary up above the D level. And if you truly listen to individuals speak out there, you'll see that there is so much mediocre wording out there that people utilize. So, where am I going with this? Well, let's X out of there and come into the next document, which is titled Word Choice. If you truly listen, now George gave a good example earlier about what it was like talking to carriers. He gets a lot of ums, he gets a lot of ahs, he gets a lot of wells, and we all do as we're talking to carriers. But here's the thing. Typically, we do the same thing when we are calling on our shipping decision makers. We pick up the phone, we answer the phone, the shipping decision maker gets on the line, and what do? We are faced like a deer in the headlight. What do I say? How do I handle this? Well, here you go. Here's your choice of words for you to use so you sound like the professional that you are. Let's go over a few of these on this document called Word Choice. Now, what I've done is on the left are words to avoid. Those are mediocre words. That is what most of society uses, words on the left in red. If you want to be successful, if your desire is to be successful, then go to the right, use the words in green. Let's compare the two, starting from top to bottom. You hear this all the time in society. I'm sorry. Everybody's sorry. I'm sorry for doing this. I'm sorry for doing that. Well, if you're going to be successful, what do? Basically, you stop apologizing. Stop apologizing and start committing and following through with what you've promised to do. Just stop apologizing. When you stop apologizing, you're going to focus more on the end result than what the problem is. So, let's move on. You hear this all the time. To tell you the truth. To tell you the truth, or to be honest. If somebody says that to me, I basically say, are you lying to me? I mean, why would you say that to me? You don't have to say that to me. Just be honest with me. Just tell me the truth, which in reality you're going to follow up with, well, the truth is this. The truth is that. When you start focusing on that, you'll stop using these foolish phrases. Moving on, I might, I may. If you want to sound professional, you'll follow that up with I will. You'll stop using maybe, you'll start saying really. You'll stop saying probably, and you'll say definitely. See, these are words that people will take notice of. If you keep using words on the left, you're going to be classified with every other freight broker that calls every other decision maker, because this is what they typically hear, especially on those first calls. Moving on here, you'll stop saying possibly, and you'll start saying absolutely. So, can you get that? Can you get a truck for me on Thursday? Absolutely. When you say absolutely and you actually commit to it, guaranteed you're going to find a truck on Thursday, and it's only Tuesday. Moving on, I'll try. How many times do you hear people say, I'll try, or I'm trying? Well, you better start saying, I'll do, or I'm doing. How many people say, okay, I'll get that. Yeah, okay, I'll follow up on this customer you just gave me, Ted, instead of, yes, absolutely, I will call this customer, this active customer that you just gave me, Ted. I'm hoping. How often do you hear that? Listen to that on TV every night. Hopefully this will happen. Well, instead of hoping, you're going to be doing. Hopefully, switch that with actually. This is actually happening. I'm not hoping it to happen, it's actually happening. Instead of help, I need help, I require your assistance. I need, instead of I need, say I require. Help, when you say help me, that sounds so needy, guys. Help me cover this load. Whereas actually, you're going to get assistance in covering the load. Could be and should be. Follow that, switch that to will be. As George said earlier on the call, when his carriers say, well, you do not say that. Get that vocabulary out of your mind and out of your mouth. You're going to say yes and exactly. I think. Instead of I think, you're going to say I know. Instead of I can't, you will say I can. I can, and I will get that covered for you. Just earlier, before I got on the line today, a customer asked me, Ted, can you confirm a truck for tomorrow? I responded with, yes, I can. I will pick up this load for you tomorrow. And guess what? I will get a truck for it. Lastly, I want. Instead of I want, you will say I have. So I start off the topic with words on the big end, but in reality, these are words that we use in everyday life. So strike the words on the left side in red and use words on the right side in green. How is this going to happen? It's only going to happen as you keep this document in front of you daily and you focus on these words, because if you keep using the words in the red when you call your prospects, when you connect and relate to them, you are going to sound, you will sound just like every other freight broker, freight agent, or at least 95% of them that come into this profession, stick around for a month or two, and then quietly go away because they could not move forward, or actually they did not move forward. If you're going to be successful, if you want to get attention from your shipping decision makers, use words on the right. If only just to sound different and sound more professional than the typical freight agent that your shipping decision makers talk to. So, word choice. I can't express how important it is that you choose the right words to use. Let's get out of there and move on. Remember when calling your customers and prospects. This is why 95% of the population use these mediocre words, because they're fearful. They're fearful of saying the right thing. Well, here's the reason why. You're fearful, and fear is an emotion driven by ignorance. When you go into a call, you're fearful. Well, it's an emotion driven by ignorance. Basically, when you go into a call and you have your words in front of you, you feel confident in the words you're going to use, you won't be ignorant. You're going to say words that are fulfilling. You're going to say words that are positive. That's what's going to get their attention. So when you have that fear, when you have that fear going into a call, just remember, put those words in front of you. Use those words to sound like the professional that you are, and then you won't be ignorant as you go into your call. So keep that in mind. Moving on to the next point, and that is when you're calling your customers and prospects, remember this. People, prospects, shipping decision makers converse best with those they relate to. If you go into a call, whether it be a follow-up call, a referral call, a cold call, if you sound like the rest of society, your shipping decision makers will not relate to you. That's why, if it's taken you a while to get into a customer or a prospect, it's because people do not relate to you. And if you use mediocre words, they will still not relate to you. Because really, why should they give you the opportunity if you're umming and ahhing and welling and telling them that you'll try, maybe you'll get a truck covered? Who's going to use somebody that uses words like that? Yeah, maybe you'll get my load covered? I don't think so. I'm going to Joe over here who confirms or who says he's got a truck confirmed for me. So, you'll hopefully cover my load for me? I don't think so. Let me put you down at the bottom of my freight list. You'll try to get that covered? Maybe you'll get that covered? I don't think so. I don't relate to you. I relate to people who use words that are the words that describe action, words that describe following through. Moving on here, guys. Next point is, remember, when you're calling prospects and customers, the number one word that we as humans hear from the time of birth until age 18 is the word no. Unfortunately, when we go into our calls, we we ah, we stall, we well, because we just naturally think that our customer, our prospect, our shipping decision maker is going to say no to us. Unfortunately, it's something that's ingrained into our system. But unless you actually realize that, you're going to keep feeling and thinking that way. Just remember, the number one word that you have been spoken to since the time you were born, until the time you were 18, is the word no. Change that word to yes. Change that word to yes, and the more you use more positive words that are used positively, words of encouragement, words of action, you will start hearing yes. Use mediocre words, words on the left, you'll keep hearing no. Because who's gonna want to deal with you? Who's going to want to work with you? But when they start hearing words of that are positive, that are reinforced with action, you will start hearing more yeses. Let's move on here to my next point. Here's the irony. Here's the irony of really my whole talk here, and that is, in reality, the less you say, the better you sound. Remember, when you're talking, again, when you have the opportunity, you will talk with better words, better word knowledge. But in reality, the irony is, the less you say, the better you sound. You don't want to just call somebody up and start, giving them these new profound words that you just spoke or that you just learned. In reality, the less you say, the better you sound. And here's what that means: the less you say, the more you're listening. So really, when you're given the platform to talk, that's when you're going to use better words that will get noticed, words that people will pay attention to. One more time, the less you say, the better you sound. Moving on, guys. One last point here. Remember, when you're calling prospects and customers, to be real. In reality, just be yourself. Be yourself. It's easy to spot an insincere sales agent, like a skunk in your family room. They both smell terrible. Now, you don't just have to be insincere. You can really, it's just being real. Be yourself. When you are yourself, hold on. When you are yourself, when you act yourself, the real you will come out. That's when you're going to alleviate the ums and the ahs and the wells and the maybes and the hoping and the hopefully. The probably, the possiblies, the I'll try, the I'm trying, the okay, I'll call this customer that you just gave me, Ted, this active customer. Yeah, okay, I'll do that. Like you're doing me a favor. I don't think so. Or I need your help. This could pick up. I should have picked it up. Stop using mediocre words. Start using words that will actually get people's attention so they listen to you. Great topic for today. One to focus on. These are words that will get you through the door, provided you're using them correctly and that people will pay attention to you, provided you're providing the solutions that they require.
You've just taken a tremendous step forward by watching and applying my Tuesday conference call highlight. Do you desire to earn and learn with our top freight team and Christian-based office? Yes? We're searching for a self-starter who's serious, motivated, and ready to take action right now. Is that you? Go to tedkeysonline.com/contacts and enter your contact details. We provide top-notch freight agent sales training to you. Then you deliver those same skills with confidence to the freight industry marketplace. I'll talk to you soon.